TTI Insights is constantly innovating and adapting to new demands and opportunities in our industry. TTISI EQ profile is one of the newer products. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? What does it measure to begin with?
TTI is one of the companies that recognizes that multiple sciences are absolutely essential if you're really going to work effectively in any of these markets. The metaphor that I like is to think of an onion in which each science is a layer of that onion. And so we look at behaviors, we look at motivators, we look at soft skills. And EQ is another layer to that onion. And each of them actually go farther in. And I would say that toward the core is EQ. And by virtue of being closer to the core, frankly, it becomes more important. Because every one of these sciences that we're using, if you boil it down to a research and a researchable agenda, they all involve emotions. The reactions and behaviors are emotionally driven. Your reaction and motivation is emotionally driven. So we keep seeing these indicators. It's time that we actually go to the core and really truly understand the emotional drive that is influencing all of these. So I think that EQ has the potential of being the foundational component, much more so than the others. And so we cannot ignore it. And in fact, in the future, we may actually be starting with it so that we can literally get at the core and then see these symptoms as they relate to the core. In terms of what it looks like and how what it accomplishes, we really need to figure out a couple of key questions. Does emotional intelligence improve with age?
Yeah.
Is it age related? Do we actually gain stability in our emotions with age? Even though you may have a knee-jerk reaction to thinking that's true, A, it's probably not true for everyone, and B, it may not be true at all. And so this has to be investigated. We do know, though, however, that emotional intelligence is absolutely key to success. And so we need to expose it, we need to develop it, and we need to be able to debrief it with people so that we're exposing where these emotions are coming from. Now, from a scientific viewpoint, recognize that when I talk about emotional intelligence, I'm really getting at a subjective thought, a subconscious thought process, a precognition. And our brain sciences are being able to expose those precognitions. I'm actually able to get a brain map of your reaction, your emotional reaction to a concept before you can think about it.
And can you get a brain map through the questionnaire? Because
Yes.
we are still,
We're at that level.
We're in,
Yes.
in this industry and still tied to a verbal world that
Yes.
is, we have to measure through words.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future it will be different.
Yeah. I am convinced that that the EQ and all of our instruments are evolving. Recognize that the assessments coming out of Target Training International are software driven. And so I want you to think about that word. They're software. They are computer programs. And there is not a computer program on any of your computers that is the original. It's version this, version this,
Yeah.
version. It's a moving target. And EQ is an example of a moving target. Where we are today is not where we'll be a year ago, and we will be constantly having new versions that improve this. And yes, I am convinced that we are taking a paper and pencil test and we are exposing those subconscious thoughts in that paper and pencil test. Can we do a better job? Yes, and we must. And only through research will that occur. So it is a moving target, and I'm feeling comfortable where we're going. I'm feeling comfortable where we are. I'm even feeling better about where we're going.
But that's the way it started out with DISC as well.
That's correct.
It's an evolving world.
Yes.
You have, and you always improve the process by beginning with measuring such a domain.
That's
That
correct.
it can always be better. That's quite natural. Since you are talking about a core domain, which goes deep into personality or character, and you said, can it improve with age? Maybe for some, but how about the question, which might be important for our network, is it trainable? Is it something that you can gain experience in once you get the insight on your level of EQ? What's your opinion on that?
Oh, so many wonderful things are going through my mind. I live in a split world because I still maintain my ties to neurology and cognitive neurology, and then I'm over here in the business world, and I'm trying to constantly draw these two worlds together. In the world of neurology, there is a branch of science that I'm a part of called first-person science. First-person science is the process of neurofeedback, in where you provide a person with knowledge, and as a result of reflecting on that knowledge, you make modifications. Okay, I don't think that's any different than what we're talking about in our world, in the business world, of these assessments. The fact that we are able to actually articulate and give people knowledge about self empowers the person. It empowers them in one of two ways. It empowers them to say, well, that's just who I am, live with it. Or it empowers them to take control and empower them to make changes. And sometimes they will need help in accomplishing that. But the first step is exposure. And our assessments expose people. They don't like everything they see at times, but they reflect on it. And after reflection, many times, they see that maybe some modifications need to occur. So it fits together. The science is showing right now in neurology that first-person science is all about giving people information and allowing their brain to make modifications.
It's a constant process of feedback. You
Yes.
can't grow.
Yes,
without
that's why it's called neurofeedback.
Yeah, that makes sense.